Today's video is going to be talking about a firm in a monopolistically competitive market. A firm in a monopolistically competitive market is actually a firm that has a monopoly on their actual differentiated product. But because it is a competitive market, substituted products will be able to enter the market, creating competition. For example, when Apple created iPads, they were able to make an economic profit. But with other tablets entering the market, they were able to provide competition. A monopolistically competitive market will have the following characteristics. One, there will be a large number of independent firms. Unlike oligopolies that had a few firms, monopolistically competitive markets will have a large number of firms. One of the reasons that you will see a downward sloping demand curve is due to the fact of differentiated products. Because each product may be similar, they are different. And because they are different, firms have the ability to set different prices. Firms in this market structure will be able to set their price above their marginal cost, making them a price maker. When firms are able to set prices, that is referred to as monopolistic pricing. Unlike a perfectly competitive market who does not decide on price, a monopolistically competitive firm will be able to decide both on price and output. Those decisions are based on the actual firm's product, the current market conditions, and the firm's cost of production. Because firms have differentiated products, in this market structure, firms will depend upon advertising and marketing to allow those firms to differentiate their product from their competitors. Similar to a perfectly competitive market, a firm in a monopolistically competitive market will, in the long run, earn the normal rate of return where their price will equal average total cost. In the short run, firms in a monopolistically competitive market had a firm in this market will act as a monopolist. They will create both output and price. The output will be determined by the profit maximizing point where marginal revenue intersects marginal cost. Once we understand the quantity for the firm, we need to understand the demand for that quantity. So we will go up to the demand curve, and the demand curve will determine the price that we are able to set. Next, a firm will have to understand what is the average total cost for this quantity. So we will go up to the average total cost curve, and the rectangle area or the shaded area represents economic profit. If there were numeric values, we could take the price, subtract the average total cost, and then multiply that by QF, and that would tell us the amount of the economic profit. Because this is a competitive market, firms are able to make above the normal rate of return. As firms demonstrate an economic profit, it will then attract more firms, thereby lowering the demand for the existing firms. This is how you would go from a short-run condition of earning an economic profit to long-run equilibrium where the firm would be earning a normal rate of return. There will also be times where a firm is at an economic loss, and an economic loss would occur when price is below average total cost. The significance of the firm operating at the point where marginal revenue intersects marginal cost, again, is the quantity that minimizes the loss. And that's really important for the firm to be able to do. As long as a firm is able to set a price above their average variable cost, they are able to supply those amount of goods. But in the long run, if price is below average total cost, firms will not be able to exist and will need to exit the market. As firms exit the market, that will increase the demand for remaining firms. This graph will illustrate the monopolistically competitive firm in long-run equilibrium. We will notice that the price will equal average total cost because the average total cost curve will run tangent to the demand curve at this point. The quantity that is actually produced at QF is below what the socially efficient quantity would be, because the socially efficient quantity would be at the point where the demand curve intersects the marginal cost curve, and once again the marginal cost curve represents the supply curve for the firm. There are two major differences between a monopolistically competitive firm versus a perfectly competitive firm, and those two differences are price markup and excess capacity. Price markup is when price is above the marginal cost for the firm. Excess capacity is when a firm is producing at a lower scale to output than it has been designed for. So looking at the graph on the left, we will notice that the firm will produce at the point where marginal revenue intersects marginal cost, creating the quantity produced by the monopolistically competitive firm. The price that will be charged along the demand curve, so price is greater than marginal cost, illustrating price markup. Excess capacity is the difference between the quantity that is produced by the monopolistically competitive firm and what is considered to be the socially efficient quantity, which would be the quantity that a perfectly competitive firm would produce at. So due to the price markup and due to the excess capacity, a monopolistically competitive firm will create dead weight loss. The long-run equilibrium equation that illustrates a perfectly competitive firm illustrates why that firm is considered to be the most efficient. Because in the long run, price will equal demand, which equals average revenue, which equals marginal revenue, which equals marginal cost, which equals average total cost at its MES. The firm is producing at its most efficient level. The firm is earning a normal rate of return, and there is no dead weight loss. One last point that I'd like to make is that when you look at all of the diagrams in this presentation, once again, I want you to realize that the marginal cost curve will intersect average total cost at its lowest point. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me, or next week I will have 2 Shobi chats on Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Have a wonderful Easter.